Have you ever spent forever looking for your keys, flipping over couch cushions, digging through your bag, only to realize that they were in your hand the whole time? Or maybe that they were sitting right there on the table, completely obvious in plain sight, but you just didn't see them. You know, that's frustrating, right? But the truth is, we do this all the time, not just with our keys, but with life. We overlook the important things, the things God is trying to show us because we're so caught up in our routines, distractions, or expectations. And you know what? The Bible has a lot to say about this. Before we jump into the video today, we'd love for you to be a part of our growing community. If you find this message uplifting, please subscribe, like, and comment. Believe it or not, most people who watch our videos aren't subscribed to the channel. And joining our community helps spread God's Word around the globe, touching lives and hearts everywhere. And here's the best part. It's completely free. Just hit that subscribe button. All right, let's talk about what's hiding in plain sight and why it matters for your faith. My first point is sometimes we don't see what's right in front of us. Ever taken the same route to work every day and then suddenly you notice a building or a sign you swear wasn't there before? That's because we see what we expect to see, not necessarily what's there. The same thing happens in our spiritual lives. Jesus encountered this issue constantly. The Pharisees, the religious experts of his day, missed the Messiah, even though he was standing right there in front of them. John 1:10 says, "He was in the world, and though the world was made through him, the world did not recognize him." They were looking for a warrior king, not a humble servant. How often do we do the same thing? We expect God to show up and we expect him to show up in one way, but we miss him because he comes in a different way that we didn't anticipate. There's an old story about a man who was trapped in a house during a flood. As the water rose, a neighbor knocked on his door and said, "Come on with me, I have a car, we can escape." The man shook his head. "No, I prayed and God will save me." The water then got a little higher and a boat came by. The person said, "Hop in, we'll take you to safety." Again, the man refused. "No, I prayed and my God will save me." Finally, as he clung to his roof, a helicopter lowered a rope down. "Grab on," they shouted. Again, he refused, certain God would intervene. Well, that man drowned. And when he got to heaven, he asked, "Lord, why didn't you save me?" God said, "I sent you a car, a boat, and a helicopter. What more did you want?" Now, see, the lesson here is God often moves in ways we don't expect. If we're not paying attention, we miss him completely. My second point, the ordinary can hold extraordinary meaning. We think that life-changing moments have to be dramatic, huge miracles, big revelations. But God often works in the small things, in the everyday moments that we tend to overlook. Zechariah 4:10 says, "Who dares despise the day of small things?" There was a woman named Sarah who worked at a local coffee shop. She wasn't a preacher, she wasn't a missionary or a theologian, just a barista who made coffee and greeted people every morning. But she made one small choice every day. She greeted each customer with warmth, remembered their names, and asked them how they were doing. And when she asked that, she did something we don't do a lot of times. She actually listened. And one day a man came in looking particularly down, and Sarah asked him, "How's your morning going?" He hesitated, then he sighed. "Honestly, it's been rough." Instead of brushing it off, she replied, "I'm really sorry to hear that. If you ever need to talk, I'm here. And if you ever need a prayer, I'd be happy to pray for you." See, that simple moment changed his life. A week later, the man returned, tears in his eyes. He said, "I was planning to end my life that day, but your kindness made me stop and think. I realized someone actually cared, and that saved me." In the moment, Sarah had no idea that what she was doing would have such a big impact. but just being faithful in the small moments made a difference? What if we saw our daily routine through God's eyes? What if we realized that the smallest acts of kindness, the unnoticed moments, were actually powerful ways to reflect Christ? And my third point, the hidden truth is often the most life-changing. Some things aren't just overlooked, they're hidden. Jesus spoke in parables all the time, and he did that for this very reason. The truth was there, but not everyone was willing to look deeper into it. When we look at Matthew 13, verses 16 and 17, but blessed are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear. For truly I tell you, many prophets and righteous people longed to see what you see, but did not see it, and to hear what you hear, but did not hear it. I want you to imagine walking past an old run-down bookstore every day. You never give it a second glance. But one day, out of curiosity, you decide that you're going to step inside. And as you browse the dusty shelves, you stumble upon a small leather-bound book that's tucked away in the corner. When you open it, you realize it's an original handwritten letter from a famous historical figure, filled with wisdom and insight that no one has read in decades. You see, that book had been there all along. It was just waiting for someone to discover it. You see, that's how the Bible is. Many of us have one sitting on our shelf unopened. It's probably got dust on it. But the truth is, right there, we just have to open it and see. Here's my challenge for you this week. Slow down. Look at the details. Ask God to open your eyes so that you can see what you've been missing. Maybe there's someone in your life who needs encouragement, but you've been too busy to even notice. Maybe there's a lesson God has been trying to teach you, but you've been too distracted. Maybe there's an opportunity to serve, but it's in an unexpected place. And Lord knows sometimes we're comfortable with some places and others we aren't. I want you to pray this week, Lord, help me to see what I've been missing. Open my eyes to what is hiding in plain sight of me. If you accept this challenge, I want you to drop a note in the comments below. And please, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to my channel. And one more thing, if you really like this video and you were inspired by it, I know you're going to enjoy this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you back next week on Monday Mornings with Michael.